Huzzah, ladies and gents. Welcome to the BBC Spews Live. Hello there. It's the 14th of July. Winner, chicken dinner. Loads to talk about, as usual. Plenty in the chat as well. Hello to everyone. I'll do the bottom few. Kirky Bally, Nick Yak, Anthony Kirkwood, Kaiser Stefano, Blue Van Man, Scouse Orby, Jason Pritchard, Rebel Frog Guy, Stevie Ray, Iron Mancer, Davey Bruce, 51 North, Dave Pets, Online Killer, Mark Thompson, Steve Fricker, Trevor Rapley, Sergio, Terry Wookfit, Davey Boy, Stevie On, Matt McGreal, and Bed Tets. How you doing on Twitch? Right. First things first, brilliant this, isn't it? I mean, it's nothing surprising anymore if you pay attention, because they're all doing the same old globalist two-step, aren't they? Like, they're all doing the same shit. Joe Biden, unbelievable. War, good God, what is it good for? Globalist politicians. That's who it's good for. Isn't it funny, right? They all just go to the same fucking school of thought. It's unbelievable. I was talking about the way they always shit on the base. Why do they think they can do everything simultaneously? You know, like I was saying, how Boris Johnson was basically just shitting all over his base all the time, thinking he can do two things simultaneously. Like, he can occasionally say, "Oh yeah, I love Winston Churchill, me. I love Winston Churchill. He's fucking brilliant. Oh, by the way, I love Extinction Rebellion." Fucking, they think they can please everybody. And in the old days, when politicians were sensible and sane and pragmatic, they used to pick the option which was the most popular and then shit all over everybody else. So, like, you know, they realised that politics was hard work, and a lot of decisions you made were mutually exclusive. You know, you can't please everyone. The climate change one's a classic example. You can't please everyone. You either go all in on it and please the leftist communist agitators, the watermelon communists, right? Or you tell them to fuck off and you please the business, the libertarians, the small government, the blue collar workers, the people who need cheap fuel and cheap food and cheap gas and cheap energy. But you can't do both. It's physically impossible. That is mutually exclusive. They love that word, politicians, as well. They're trying to sound clever, like as if, I don't know, it's not a particularly complex argument, is it? But they love to talk about things being mutual. Oh, that is not mutually exclusive. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Fucking, do you not know what it means? It is mutually exclusive. You can't have two positions at the same time when those positions are polar opposites. You have to pick one. So either please the green lobby or please the anti-green lobby, which is everybody else. And they always do it. And Biden's been doing it. He's been pandering to the left since he got in office. Yeah, he advertised himself as the fucking moderate. And then he spent a whole year being a lefty arsehole. And now he thinks he can be all wary, you know, roily, tin-foily all of a sudden. And it's even more hilarious to say that when he just pulled out of Afghanistan because he proved that they haven't got the will, they haven't got the nerve, they haven't got the backbone to see off a bunch of fucking goat herders. So what's he going to do? Use force. What force? Foreskin. That's the only thing Biden's got, a foreskin. He hasn't got, what do you mean, force? Iran. Have you fucking seen the numbers? Have you seen the size of Iran's army and population and landmass? What does he mean? What's he gonna do? You got slapped shitless by a bunch of pot-bellied fucking goat herders. His mouth is seriously writing checks his fucking body can't cash. It's unbelievable. But honestly, enough small talk. You need to watch me eat cake. Did everybody see that cake? I didn't buy the cake, by the way. I seen the cake while I was in the shops. I was looking at the scab rack. Every first place I go in any supermarket is the scab rack. And I went over there. Ooh, what can I get for cheap? You know, oh look, here's something I would never in a million years dream of eating, but it's 50 pence, so fuck it. I used to love the Scab Rack in Waitrose. I live right next to a Waitrose in York, and Waitrose is well posh. So go in the Scab Rack in Waitrose, and you get like Gucci pastrami on rye with mustard mayonnaise shit for like 50 pence because it was like, you know, 2 days past its sell-by date or whatever. So I seen the luminescent neon pink and sky blue cake on the Scab Rack, and it amused me that something that colour could be considered edible. But don't worry, I didn't buy it. Just to answer Mr. Scobie. And yeah, this is hilarious. This, isn't it? It's I don't get it. I don't get it. This is what I was saying about Trump. Trump could see out all of the scandals that were 10 times worse than Boris's because he had the base. So as long as you've got your base, you don't care. You just go, my base outnumbers the fucking whingers, so who cares? But Biden's doing it like Boris. It's dead weird. Like pandering to the left for months. And then when it's part of this big globalist fucking arms race thing, then all of a sudden, oh yeah, we'll show you we mean business. What are you talking about? I don't get it at all. Anyway, I'll quickly read you it. So President Joe Biden, who can barely fucking talk and has the emotional... I went running today. I told you I don't cough when I smoke. He has the emotional intestinal stamina of a fucking teenage histrionic drug addicted lesbian. He's pledged that the US is prepared to use all elements of its national power to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Brilliant. Brilliant. So he's writing checks his body can't cash. Israel considers their nuclear program to be its greatest threat, and Iran insists it's peaceful. Yeah, although this is the same Iran that President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad about 10 years ago. In fact, longer, I'm showing my age. I think I was still in the car when he said that. So what was it, 15 years ago? Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said is basically we want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. You can't now tell us that it's peaceful, can you? When you went on telly, barmy bastard, and said, we want to wipe it off the face of the fucking earth. And then they said, oh yeah, well, what you're enriching the uranium for, is that to wipe us off the face of the earth? No, that's just for what a nice energy grid. Doesn't really hold water, does it? He said, Mr. Biden outlined a series of commitments underpinning the relationship with Israel in a document known as the Jerusalem US-Israel Strategic Partnership Declaration. He also pledged the US would work together with our other partners to confront Iran's aggression and destabilizing activities, including their use of terrorist organizations. Well, like I will say is, I'm going to side slightly with the warmongers on this and say that we have got a legitimate bone to pick with Iran. Like, the Iranians are our enemies, aren't they? Like, they just are. Because they're all, if not, there's a lot of Sunni Shia issues going on with Iran, Iraq, and all those countries in the region. Because they all fucking hate each other. Which is another argument I keep saying about to lefties who are like, yeah, man, if we were all just like one religion, we can have peace and shit. It's like, that's the hippies, really, isn't it? Like, if the whole world converted and the entire planet decided to become dedicated followers of Alan's snack bar, it still wouldn't fix the problem. We'd all be fucking murdering each other, wouldn't we? Because there's civil wars in their own religion. They've never fixed the schism between Muhammad and his grandson, however it is they think should be in charge. The Sunni Shia issues will always be there. And then you've got even smaller minority groups. So none of that would fix the issue. If we're all one religion, it wouldn't sort any of this out. That's true. The Iranians themselves are okay, right? And the reason for that, my neighbours in Pasadena were Iranians, really nice people. The issue is they're young enough to remember. Their grandparents are still around. And they're young enough to remember when Iran was more of a secular democracy. And then obviously the Ayatollahs sprang out in the late 70s. What was it, 79, when the Ayatollah took over? and all of a sudden everyone's wearing a fucking sack over their head. So I've got no real issue with the bog standard Iranian people, but the people that run the nation are obviously our enemies. They are hostile towards us, and vast majorities of the IEDs and the indirect fire weapons that were used to kill our soldiers in Iraq were sent over by the Iranians. ISI were there. When I was deployed in Afghanistan, there was a bloke who was working, he was TA, he was working as a translator for the British Army in Camp Suter in Kabul. Turned out he was Iranian intelligence, and he quickly got fucking arrested and shuffled off the camp. The Iranians are hostile to us, and they did. There's blood on their hands. British and American servicemen died because of the Iranians. They were basically waging a proxy war against us in Iraq. It's extremely complicated because everybody hates everybody as soon as you get out there. But the Iranians are a hostile entity. So I'm not trying to say we should be best pals with the Iranians. But again, this is why I keep talking about isolationism, about just keeping your nose out, because it gets to the point where it's so complicated. You can tie yourself in knots, wondering who's your ally and who's your enemy. And it's even right to say this was caused by us as well, wasn't it? Because who did we back to cause the fucking Iranian revolution? Do you know what I mean? It's us. And then, well, think about it. It's always the same. And then we backed the Mujahideen, who then basically became the Taliban. So we backed them and we trained them and we supplied them. And then we wait 20 years and then we're at war with them. And then they kick our fucking ass as well. So, like, this is why people keep saying, like, you've just got to, the pragmatic approach is to stop sticking your nose in all parts of the world. But then that would deny our globalist overlords, ladies and gentlemen. And we all know who's actually running the show, isn't it? It's our globalist overlords. And to put the cherry on top of the dog shit cake, even that's confusing, because then you've got the arms companies who are publicly owned, but they all pay off our domestic politicians. And then it's just this giant, which is why, again, you sound like a conspiracy theorist when you start talking about the New World Order. But it's like, that's just a nice catch-all term, isn't it? For all of these massive multinational psychopaths who pull everybody's fucking strings. Global homo, that's a good one. So we're in the shit as usual. But the point I'm getting at is I keep advocating isolationism at this point because it's too complicated. And you can't back a winner. You think you're backing a winner, and the next thing, they're gnawing your balls off as well. So the best thing to do is to keep your bastard nose out. I mean, it's easy, that, innit? Again, that's the type of wisdom you get off your nana when you're sitting on a knee when you're 8. Well, I didn't sit with Nana's knee when I was 8. She wasn't an affectionate woman, man, and I don't think I sat on the knee after the age of about 2. But she's the type who will tell you, you know what I mean? Keep your fucking nose out of it. If you don't know what's going on exactly, keep your nose out of it. When you see people fighting in the town, don't get involved because you don't know what's happening. It's too complicated. So keep your nose out of it. But we, because of this globalist shit, cannot bring ourselves to do it, can we? We cannot bring ourselves to do it. Look at Ukraine. I mean, I know I've segued into about 5 different wars there, but like I said, there's a lot to talk about. Look at Ukraine. It's complicated. It shouldn't be a case of we just go, oh yeah, fuck Putin, let's just throw trillions of dollars at the Ukrainians. It's complicated. The Ukrainian government's bent. The Ukrainian government had a fucking coup. The Ukrainian government's collapsed all the TV networks into one big one, the Ministry of fucking Truth, right? So what have we been saying for ages about just being isolationist and keeping your nose out of it? And the childish, because obviously they know what to say to try and smear you. The childish wokists, the second you say any of this, they go, oh my God, you fucking love Putin. Oh my God, you love Putin. That's what I kept saying about Trump, and it was all fake. But yeah, there's a nice shortened version. If in doubt, say nout. I just want to advocate that policy on a global scale. Because if both sides are bent, if the game is rigged, the only sensible position is to not play the game. And that is self-evident to me. To anybody who really knows what they're talking about with the Ukraine, both sides are shit, aren't they? To me, it's like Chelsea versus Manchester City. I don't like either of the cunts, so I don't go at the game. If Chelsea play Man City, I've got no interest. And that should be our generic point of view on Ukraine versus Putin. I don't care, because I don't like or trust either of them. They're all rat bastards. Zelensky is a rat bastard. So who cares? Who cares? I wouldn't even call myself a non-interventionist. Like I said, it's just, if in doubt, say out. When they're both shite, don't fight. There's another one. They're both shite. Don't fight. Easy. Easy. Fucking, I don't like City. No, I don't like City. I actually prefer Manchester United to City, because City were shite. Like, I was at the game when we beat Man City fucking 8-1 when Sven was in charge. Man City used to be absolutely dog shit. And just like Chelsea, they suddenly appeared from nowhere because some fucking Arab oligarch bought them. So I don't like them teams. I think at least teams like Man United were a slow build, weren't they? You can't deny Ferguson bringing through the young lads and building a team up there. I don't like any of the new ones, Chelsea, Man City, any of the ones who went from being dog shit to suddenly being mint because of some rich Arab or some rich Russian oligarch giving them loads of money. It annoys me when they're all smug all the time. Do you know what I mean? At least Borough admit we've always been shite. If it wasn't for this sudden injection of money from City and Chelsea, they'd be fucking dog shit. So I've got no time for it. Yeah, well, I know City, unlike Middlesbrough, has a lot of history, right? When they had Alan Ball and all these old beauty players. But you know what I'm saying? In recent history, they've come back to preeminence because of foreign money. So I'm not a fan of City. I mean, I don't like Man United either. I'm just saying if I had to pick one of the two, I'd prefer United. But obviously, I don't like Man United. I'm a Borough fan. Middlesbrough will get the Premier. You're a fucking more optimistic man than me. So that's what I'm getting at. It's bollocks. We shouldn't be anywhere near Ukraine. We certainly shouldn't be sending 60 billion, sorry, that was me being optimistic, wasn't it? $billion to Ukraine. We should be. Don't care. Don't fucking care. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sick of, and you can't talk too much about it because you get banned. You can't have an opinion once. Well, I haven't been pro fucking Putin, have I? So it doesn't matter. But yeah, if the game is rigged, don't play the game, is what I've been saying since the start of it. And the idea that the Ruskies can barnstorm across Europe, it's total fucking nonsense. If you can do basic mathematics, you don't have to be a military analyst. You don't have to be an intelligence professional. You just have to be able to do basic maths. Russia's economy is the same as Italy's. And the Italians couldn't barnstorm across Europe. The Italians couldn't take over fucking, I don't know, it was the smallest country in Europe, Luxembourg. The Italians couldn't conquer Luxembourg. So don't tell me Putin's going to barnstorm across fucking Europe. How much did the UK send? I'll tell you what, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. But we've sent nearly 60 billion. I bet the UK sent a few billion, 2 or 3 billion quid. What we can't afford, what we don't have, what we're getting into debt to pay. It's a joke. So, yeah, fuck Iran and Ukraine and Afghanistan and anywhere else. If we'd have done the Bootneck's foreign policy for the last few years, we'd all be better off. We'd all be richer. We'd all be better off. And we wouldn't have got involved in any of it. So, yeah, winner. Winner. What else have we got? Good. Oh, yeah, speaking of insane globalist pervert psychopaths, let's do this one. Because I haven't talked about it much. And I want to. I don't think a lot of people. Basically, we're all guilty of doing this in the UK. And in the West in general, right? When you're in a rich Western country, you can sometimes completely ignore the issues in places like Sri Lanka, because to use a Trumpism, to use a dreaded Trumpism, fuck shit up, right? It's you can't blame Westerners. You know what I was saying? How you can't blame middle class Westerners for not being able to compete with Eastern Europeans who were dragged up hard. You can't blame middle class Westerners for not being interested in Sri Lanka. But basically, all of this fucking shit is linked to the elephant in the room that I keep talking about, but Sky News, Channel 4 and the BBC don't keep talking about. The reason this is happening, ladies and gentlemen, is because of the Green Lobby, the watermelon communists. It was the same in the Netherlands as well. It's happening all over the world. And I've got my own conspiracy theory about it. I'll read you this and then I'm going to tell you what I think. So, they're loving life because he resigned. It says the PM's resigned, president's resigned after fleeing to Singapore in the face of mass protests over his rule. He's believed to have wanted to leave Sri Lanka before stepping down to avoid the possibility of arrest. The cost of food, fuel, and other basic supplies has soared for Sri Lankans. Demonstrators greet the news with dancing. We are beyond happy and relieved we can go back to our lives. We're so exhausted. Just have you noticed how they don't tell you why? They don't tell you why. Because these snakes, these commie rats who work for the BBC, they don't want to tell you why. They just say the cost of food, fuel, and other basic supplies has soared for Sri Lankans. Done. It just has. Just has. It's nobody's fault. It just has. Nowhere in here do they tell you. I can write. The logical time to put in the reason why is after that fucking full stop there. You go, the cost of food, fuel, and other basic supplies has soared for Sri Lankans, full stop. This is primarily due to batshit red watermelon commie fucks encouraging people all around the world to stitch up their own people by embracing ridiculous, irrational, unworkable left-wing economic fucking policies. That's why. But they don't want to tell you. And I'm not going to read you the whole thing because I'm not a pervert, but they don't want to tell you. It says, the cost of food and fuel and basic supplies soared. Anyway, people danced. Yeah, people danced. Let's talk about the dancing. You don't want to know why, do you? There's that killer sentence. Oh, yeah, food, fuel, and basic supplies. The first thing a normal human does is gets to the end of that sentence and goes, why? No, I'll tell you what, let's have some dancing. Here, look at these dancers, lads. Ooh, dancing, yeah. Don't want to know why, do you? You don't want to know why. So there's pictures of some people dancing, and they're happy. Let's have a fucking dance. And we're exhausted because of the dancing. And then he went to Singapore, and he's got bodyguards, and he went there, and they said he wants asylum, and he said he's sworn in, and then, and there's a photo, and then. The fucking reason. And also in the Netherlands, and also in other parts in Africa. The reason everything's going tits up is because, funny old thing, green eco-Marxism. It's this silly twat was told, oh yeah, what you want to do is you want to get your emissions down. We'll give you some money, mate. The World Economic Forum and fucking Klaus inside his hollowed out volcano. Well, we'll look after you, lads, if you get your emissions down. You know what that promise is like? That's like telling Gaddafi that we'd look after him if he got rid of his fucking nuclear program. We'll look after you, mate. Next thing, he's getting raped in the mouth by 1,000 protesters. Next thing, he's got his gold AK-47 up his arse. And he's getting fucking rinsed outside a compound in Libya. Their words are wind. It is Greta's fault. It is Greta's fault, Mark. Yes, it is. It's all linked. And normies don't do their own work. They just get to the picture of the fucking dancing Sri Lankans and go, oh, that'll do. Ooh, he must have been a bastard. Oh, do you know why they can't get food? Because he was a bastard, him. Ooh, he was a bastard. No, he was doing what you said, globalist psychopaths. He was following the green agenda. It doesn't matter whether you're in fucking the Netherlands, green agenda. I mean, I'm assuming you all saw that, didn't you? All the protests in the Netherlands. It was because they were fucking the farmers with these fuel subsidies, getting rid of them all, and then slapping a tax on them, telling them how many emissions they're allowed to emit in a year. It everywhere it goes, it fucks you. It doesn't matter whether it's Britain, America, anywhere in Europe, Sri Lanka. It doesn't matter. It's not about dancing. It's about the green agenda, the fucking Green New Deal. And so I knew I told you I was going to tell you my theory. I haven't heard this anywhere, but this is my theory. I wanted to tell me what you think about it, because God's honest truth, I haven't heard it anywhere else. I've never heard another commentator say it or another podcast host. Here's my theory. I think that because, as I discussed yesterday, we're all out of ideas. We're all out of ideas. Our economy is tanking. We're totally fucked. With the money printers going brrr, we're importing strains on our countries. We've got no fucking clue. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows what to do. Everybody's just marking time, printing more money, hoping somebody will come up with a solution. I think the rich Western countries wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for a century of unbridled economic output. Essentially, Britain's world famous, we're legendary for it, but our industrial revolution. If it wasn't for the industrial revolution in the Western world, we wouldn't be rich, right? It wouldn't. It's a simple matter of fact. The reason Western Europe and the colonies, North America, Australia, Canada, are rich is because of the Industrial Revolution, which the British invented, right? And obviously, that pumped out massive amount of fucking carbon emissions. I mean, we choked Britain, didn't we? Apparently, Manchester at the height of the Industrial Revolution looked like fucking Mordor. It was just big black plumes of smoke coming out of the hills, right? So what I'm thinking is it not plausible that the reason they're pushing the green agenda is to totally hamstring the third world? Because they know they're fucked. And if the developing world ever manages to get developed, we're doomed, because we're out of ideas. We've got nothing. We've got these big albatross around our neck, which is this sort of welfare state. We've got everybody's on the disability. Everyone's fucking sitting at home in a council house eating turkey Twizzlers and Chicago town pizzas and drinking fucking Carlsberg special brew. Like, to me, why wouldn't they be hamstringing the third world? So they're saying to the Sri Lankans, no, look, green. We'll help you out, lads, green. They're basically saying hamstring yourselves so you can't catch us up. Because as usual, like I keep saying, everything they come out with contradicts itself if you read the fucking newspaper every day for more than a couple of weeks. They contradict themselves. A really good, obvious one is the statistics on individual carbon footprint when you move from the third world to the first world. Has anybody seen those numbers? The same green people, the Green lobby in the UK. I mean, the Green Party in the UK is a fantastic example. The Green Party in the UK say, "Oh yeah, you've got to get your carbon emissions under control, lads. You've got to take the bus a bit more. You've got to walk a little bit more." But those are the same people who say open borders. And if you get some little pot-bellied pygmy tribesman from the fucking deepest, darkest Peru, right, and you get him out of his flip-flops and his loincloth, and you go, no borders, man. And the next thing, you put him up in a fucking apartment in Manchester, and he's got an iPhone, and he goes to the gym, and he's eating Mackie D's. Suddenly, his carbon footprint's about fucking 600 times higher. So they're completely contradicting themselves. You know what I mean? If a billion people move from the third world to the first world in the next 15 years, the carbon emissions go through the fucking roof. And they're all for that. They're like, no borders, man. Yeah. all the pygmies should be fucking wearing tweed and riding electric scooters and smoking a fucking e-pen. They should all be doing that, bro. And it's like, but you should be taking the bus a bit more, you could. Like, so what? I'm going to reduce my carbon footprint by 50 grams of fucking carbon this year, but you're going to ship over 1 billion pot-bellied dwarves from South and Central America and put them up in apartments with air conditioning in fucking Florida. And it's like, oh yeah, that makes loads of sense, doesn't it? That makes loads of sense. Like I said, they're completely insane. They can't do basic maths. Or John Kerry, oh, you know what? You could definitely cycle a bit more. Anyway, I'm on my 37th private jet flight of the fucking month. Like, these people are just psychos. It's why it's so funny to me. And it's like I said to you, you don't even need to be like good humoured to be funny when you're on YouTube talking about the state of modern politics, because it writes itself. It's comedy. AOC, all you have to do is read the shit they come out with, and it's comedy gold, because they're all raving lunatics and they just contradict themselves. Like, you know, like Terry Fuckwit's funny in the Viz because he's so stupid you can't help but laugh. Like, he comes in, he's like, hello, Dad. I've come to help you do the dishes. And the dad's like, 3 things, Terry, 3 things. First of all, I'm not your dad. You live next door, you thick twat. Second of all, we haven't got any dishes because you said you were going to wash them last week with your dad's hammer. Do you remember that? And thirdly, I'm going to punch you in the face very hard, you thick twat. And it's funny because he's a fucking moron, right? Well, that's what these people are like. The Greens are definitely the funniest. Like, they just completely everything they say, they rebut themselves in the same fucking sentence. You know what I mean? They say something about, there'll be at a press conference and they'll say, like, you know, oh, we have to get our global emissions under control. And then the next question is, oh yeah, how are you going to do it? And when you're saying we have to let more asylum seekers in, and they go, oh yeah, but that's a human right. Human right, that. It's human right to get everybody out of the third world and move them to the first world. Human right. Yeah. So you're going to get people out of the jungles and put them in air-conditioned apartments in fucking Miami. Yeah, that's a good idea, that. Brilliant. And then that increases their carbon footprint by a factor of 50. But me recycling and walking a bit more reduces it by 0.3. Do you think this is a sensible thing to say in front of people? It is clown world. It is. It's laughable to me. Everything they come out with is fucking maniacal, monomaniacal, deranged, globalist sociopaths. That's what they are. Fucking psychos. And nothing they say makes any sense, so you can't help but laugh, can you? Do you want to talk about the Tory leadership race? I mean, I really don't care too much. I feel as if we should discuss it because it's all anyone's talking about in UK politics now. But I'm not interested. I think it's obvious, right? Like I've been saying from the start. The Tory party needs to die. And it will die because the Tories have no interest in saving it. And Rishi Sunak pissing it proves what I'm saying to be true. Because if they wanted to save it, they wouldn't be picking Rishi fucking Sunak. It's hilarious to him. Even that's hilarious, isn't it? Because it's like Rishi Sunak has been the Chancellor, right? Which is the second most important job in British politics. He sets all the monetary policy. And Rishi Sunak is now going on the telly and saying, I'm going to sort out the economy, which I was already sorting out and it's fucked. I'm going to fix the deficit, which he was in charge of, and it's fucked. And I'm going to roll back all those tax increases, which he instigated. Do you know what I mean? It's mental. It's like Ronald McDonald coming out going, I'm going to make sure we stop people eating all them Big Macs. You were the one on the telly with your big shoes telling people how good the Big Macs were, you cunt. The bloke who was in charge of our taxation and spending, the bloke who was in charge of all of it, all of our monetary policy, all of our quantitative easing, All of our fucking taxing and spending, all those big decisions for the last few years have been made by this fucking guy. And now he's running off a platform saying, you know, you need to sort the economy out. Rishi Sunak. Well, you've been running the bastard. I mean, it's laughable. So brilliant that. Again, comedy gold, isn't it? The bloke who set the taxes for the last fucking 3 years is now telling you get rid of all the taxes. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll get rid of all them taxes. What, the ones you put in 3 fucking weeks ago? Oh yeah, them ones. All right. If that makes sense to you, whatever. You know what? I'm not even interested. He's going to win, isn't he? He's going to win. David Curtin put out a good tweet about it. You know David Curtin, the UKIP bloke? So we were right. I was right saying if what it takes to get an actual Conservative, when did I say this? Like a week ago. If what it takes to get an actual Conservative, yeah, it was when I was talking about Rags and Jack. If what it takes to get someone who's actually Conservative, someone who can actually come out and say, let's get shot of all this fucking bollocks. Let's get shot of the eco shit, Extinction Rebellion, the Green New Deal, all of that bollocks, fling it all out. I'm not interested. And sort the border out, deport all the dirty, foreign, criminal fucking scum, and get the Navy in the Channel and stop the frogs dropping them all off here. If being able to say that in this insane generation, where you have to be a person of colour, I don't even like using the terms. I told you, I just call people black, brown, because nobody cares. You never ever meet a black person who goes, oh, whoa, it's people of colour, motherfucker. They don't do it. It's woke white middle class assholes who do it. It's Robin DiAngelo who says it. Black people don't care. They don't. I've never met a single one ever. And in my life, I just call them black. Oh, the black dude over there, yeah. Oh, cheers, mate. Oh, yeah, all right, mate. How are you doing? Yeah, oh, yeah. There's another black dude who comes in. Oh, yeah, cheers. Nobody ever complains about it. The only fucking person who says it is white middle-class arseholes. So fuck you. I don't use those terms. If being black allows Kemi Badenoch to do all of what needs to be done, because in 2022, all they care about is what you are and what you look like, even if you're a conservative. The Conservatives are woke, right? So they don't care what you think or what's in your heart or what's in your head. They just care about what you look like, what you are. If being a black woman gives her the most chance of being able to get right-wing policies in on immigration and taxing and spending and globalist green bullshit, give her the job. That's what I said. It seems to me the only one out of them who seems even remotely, because I mean, she'll probably be lying. They all lie. They're all self-serving scum. But if she seemed the only plausible one who might actually mean it. And David Curtin, let me just find the tweet. On Twitter now. There we are. Look, David Curtin said that. So the fake Conservative Party, the candidates left in the contest are a socialist, a cultural Marxist, a warmongering nutjob, a Bilderberger, and Kemi Badenoch. So that's what I'm talking about. It seems to me Dave Curtin said that 4 hours ago. That's seems to me like me and Dave are singing off the same hymn sheet there. Kemi Badenoch's the only choice if they have any interest in saving the Conservative Party, but they haven't. So it'll be Sunak. It'll be Sunak. I'm telling you, they haven't got the will to save the Conservative Party. So what have I been telling you for years? Kemi won't be allowed to get in. They haven't got the will. They have not got the will. Just accept the fact that they're done. Accept it. Move on with your life. The Tories are fucking done. 2024, Labour, Socialist, Commie, fucking SNP, coalition of death. And then you're fucked. And they'll collapse the House of Lords and create some bollocks new Senate thing. And they'll do away with first past the post voting, so nobody Conservative can ever win an election ever again. And they'll go full George Orwell, and they'll fucking expand the BBC and the Ministry of Truth and Channel 4. Fucking Kathy Newman will be the women's minister. It's totally fucked. And then, 2025, 2026, 27, you'll have starvation, unburied dead, burning tyres in the streets, mass migration. You'll have 20 million Nigerian pirates wandering around fucking Lancashire. And then maybe you'll get a Conservative Party, an actual Conservative Party. But it won't be this one. It won't be this one. It'll be one of the new ones. Like I said, what's going to happen? 20% of us, me, you, sensible listeners, we're going to abandon the Conservative Party. We're probably not going to vote, or we'll pick one of the much too large selection of new Conservative options. But it'll split the vote too much. And then the coalition of commies is going to win. And I've been saying that for fucking years now, and that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. Mark my bastard words. I'm telling you. Yeah, and what did we say yesterday, Ralph? History is merely a form of prophecy. That's what you're going to get. The winter of 78 will repeat in 2028. Mark my words. The Tories have not got the will to set this fucking right. So you're in the shit. Right. I'm going to fuck off. I'll be back tomorrow. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try and pre-record a video. I have got no fucking time because I watched that Sargon of Akkad video about that insane middle-class wokeist who works in Chicago, and I pissed myself laughing at it. It's like the modern parents writ large. I couldn't believe what I was watching. So I'm going to try and do a video about that. We'll see. We'll see. I've got to work tonight, I think, so fuck knows. But yeah, that's next on my list of things to do. I'll probably see you all tomorrow. Shut up, watch. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, enjoy yourselves. Crazy times ahead. You've got to love it, haven't you? At least we'll have something to talk about as the world fucking burns. Cheers, lads. See you later. Bye.